Lillie's had a wonderful life, adored by her owners Mark and Richard, along with their other dog Ollie. More like a cat than a casehund, this dog landed on her feet.
She was a show dog, so she was an Australian champion. And all of a sudden one day she decided that she didn't want to go in the ring anymore, so she was retired.
Where are you going? Eh? The lady who owned her was going to leave her here to see if we were all compatible. Within a couple of minutes the breeder said, "If you want her, she's yours."
But just recently, Mark and Richard have noticed changes. Lillie has SARS, or sudden acquired retinal degeneration syndrome. In just 3 weeks, she went completely blind. Mark and Richard waited and hoped that their 12-year-old dog could adjust.
Yesterday I came home and she was, she'd made a mess in the house, which isn't an issue. The issue was that she had walked everything all over the place and was actually lying in it sleeping, and I thought that's just not something that she would do. And Richard and I discussed it, and based on how she'd been behaving and so distant and sad, that we thought now is the time.
They've spent Lillie's last day together at home with a trip to get a few favourite things.
I was buying the treats for the girls. I'm thinking, why am I getting this much? I need it after today.
Soon they'll meet the vet who'll put Lillie to sleep, but not at a clinic. Rather, the vet's coming here.
You must be Richard.
Yeah.
Hello, Marie.
It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Come and meet the girls.
Yeah.
Dr Marie DeLint only sees clients in their home. She doesn't have a clinic, and it's always for the same reason. For one family member, it's time.
I think it makes it so much easier for them to not have to be bundled up in the car and be driven to the clinic. And yeah, it's familiar smells and sounds. Sometimes I've got a cricket match going and people say, "Oh, I'll go and turn the telly off," and I'll say, "No, keep that going, because it's part of your home and it's normal." So I always worry.
The vet explains what's about to happen, the mechanics by which life will end.
I do things in steps, and that is mainly because I want to make things really easy for Lillie. Mm-hmm. So what you will see that I will do first is that I give her a little injection, which I call my feel-good cocktail. Mm-hmm.
Marie DeLint started her home euthanasia service in 2008. It grew out of her belief that home is a better place for a dog or a cat to die.
How do you keep doing this? Because every client you see every day is in the grip of the most appalling despair.
It's a really good question, and I ask myself that sometimes. Clients ask me all the time, and I think I can keep doing it because I am fascinated by people and their animals.
But there are other lives in this equation. For vets, euthanasing pets is part of the job that can bring, oddly, some satisfaction.
What I mean by satisfaction is we can end an animal's suffering. They don't have to starve to death. We can help them go peacefully and painlessly. Come on through.
But Kylie Green's found there's also a tremendous emotional cost.
We have to learn to leave it behind. So, you might get very, very upset, but you might have a vaccination waiting for you. So you've got to compose yourself and keep going. But there is a lot of burnout in our industry. There is a lot of compassion fatigue. There is a lot of suicide. And yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why.
She says Marie DeLint's service definitely relieves that pressure. And then there are the owners.
You're having a little bit of a snore.
As Lily's life draws to a close, Mark and Richard remember how their first dog's life ended.
And it was all over and done with within 10 minutes. Within 30 seconds of injecting her and leaving the room, they came back in with a brochure and showed us a brochure and said, "Would you like to pick an urn?" And we were just so devastated.
Stop, go away, give us some space.
Tonight's about avoiding a repeat of that.
She's had a good life.
The loss of a pet is bone-achingly sad, no matter how it happens. But for the humans left behind, a quiet end at home is perhaps as good as the grief gets.
Just go and tuck her in.
Completely different.
Infinitely, I think.
Completely different. Of course, it was incredibly distressing. Nobody wants to put their dog down, but it was the best it could possibly have been.
Hello. I've got a special delivery.
How are you?
A week later and Marie de Lint is back, and so is Lillie.
Oh, that's lovely.
You're going to end up in there too.
That little
Ollie's getting used to being an only dog, but that's unlikely to last. As Lillie joins the dogs who've gone before her on the mantelpiece, there's now talk of a new fur child.
It's difficult to know when. I mean, if you dropped a puppy on my lap now, I wouldn't give it back to you. Nobody's ever going to replace Lillie, as nobody replaced Bea or Heidi.
No.
It's just a different fur child.